I'd just like to glean maybe just a few comments of some of the things that came out. Of course, one of them that keeps coming up is Weston Hotel. And for the first time that he admitted that there was something illegal about it, be as it may, that he was a very innocent party in this particular transaction. So as an innocent person, he should be left alone. Mark, no, let me start with Frederick, because I know, Mark, you have...
Mike, a very uncomfortable conversation it is that we must start, and I agree with Mark Bichachi. You know, all of us Kenyans, we have a right to own property, whichever part of the country, individually, communally, but that right under Bill of Rights does not extend to owning a property that is illegally acquired. That is the law. And when I listened to that interview, I was for some time lost, because you see, there's an acknowledgement that that land could have been acquired by somebody else illegally and sold to the current owners. That is an acknowledgement, that is an admission in itself. So I think if it is a public land, for heaven's sake, let that land go to the public. And if there are compensation that must be done so that it goes to the public, let that compensation be done like yesterday. That is the first thing. The second thing that I gathered is we are always very quick to defend ourselves whenever we're put into a corner. And on matters of national interest, especially for public figures, political leaders, I think our conduct in office and outside office must really reflect the office that we hold. That is the bottom line.
All right. Mark Bichachi, the interview that the Deputy President had.
Well, of course,
a number of things came out.
Yeah, the highlight, of course, is Weston. Now, his admission that it was illegally acquired by someone else and then sold on to him is a critical admission. Now, the question, my dear Deputy President, is not therefore how you got it. The question has to be, what are you going to do now? Not in terms of what the law says, but in terms of what does a leader do and what is the moral thing to do. The reality is this. And by the way, let me do a disclaimer. I have no problem personally with the Deputy President. I have no problem with his presidential ambitions. Don't tweet me telling me I dislike him. But whether it was my own father, my friend Mike here, or the Secretary General of Third Way Alliance, I will tell them the same thing. If you are a moral person, if you hold the office of Deputy President of this country dear, if you hold the oath that you took to come to office dear, then it must follow that your action as far as Weston is concerned is to forfeit profit, is to forfeit the land and return it to the state. That is the moral thing to do. And let me put it like this. If the Deputy President does that, he will have done two things. Number one, he would have set precedents for people taking moral and political responsibility for their actions and misactions. And it is an important thing. It is part of his duty as a Deputy Head of State. The second thing that it will have done, he would have put a shot in the arm in the President's fight against corruption. And the third thing that he would have done, he would have secured the votes of Kenyans who have considered Weston as a stumbling block to voting for him. So if he does the moral thing, then it is a win for him. But his political theater players will come out and say that, oh, now we are against the Deputy President. My friend, we are not against him. The fact is, by his own admission, that that land is illegally acquired. So can he do the right legal thing?
Frederick Okango, time is up. Your parting shot.
Kenyans must come to the reality that we have got leaders who are not supposed to be leaders. Kenyans must come to the reality that it is time for them to publicly participate in issues of governance. And the same Kenyans must now stop complaining, roll their sleeves, and get involved. Whether it is in the urban cities, whether it is in the county, whether it is in the national government, we see issues to do with strike. We are the people who are going to suffer. When your mother back home cannot get the Medicare because nurses have gone on strike and because they're asking for an allowance that they can get, but otherwise that money is being stolen, then we must speak out. Kenyans must now get involved in how their leaders provide services to them. And that requires a very resilient lot. That lot is us. We must speak out, because when we stop speaking, something will go wrong.
Mark, you get the last word.
Uncomfortable conversations need to be had about, number one, who is a leader. A leader in politics, a leader as a commissioner, who is a leader. And number two, uncomfortable conversations. Are we a nation of thieves and immoral people who try to hide in church every Sunday or in the mosque every Friday? Last conversation, among the conversations we need to have again, is what is morality? Can we police morality? Can we put police in the bedrooms of people to make sure that there's a marriage certificate guaranteeing the activities that are happening? Can we do that? Then we need to have uncomfortable conversations about who is going to be the next leader of this country. We need to begin to hold Raila Odinga, William Ruto, Kalonzo Musyoka, and all of these people to a higher standard. We need to ask Mudavadi, did you get golden bag money or not? We need to ask Wetangula about Tokyo land. We need to ask Ruto about Weston. We need to ask Raila Odinga about molasses. That's what we need. Let me tell you, let us begin to have uncomfortable conversations until for once